Welcome back, everybody, to the Off the Tools podcast with your hosts, Jimmy Hong and Joshua Grudenbohr. Today, we're going to be diving into a little bit about just how to stay busy in that off season. No matter if you're living in Antarctica or, sunny California, everybody's got a slow period within their business. So, Jimmy, top of your head, top of your head, like what are, some of those things that we can be doing to maybe keep lead flow where it is during those hot months, or just make up for kind of the lack of demand in the market?
Great question. I think it also starts right in the mindset of like the slow season.
Mm-hmm.
When you see everybody's like, oh, it's slowing down. And what does a lot of people do? They're like, oh, let's just slow down our marketing, right? Let's slow down our efforts because it's already slow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are we all doing the same thing that everybody else is doing? No, you want to stand out in your market. And if anything, you should be upping marketing, right? Whether it's like door to door, whether it's Facebook, Google, you should be upping your marketing so that you can stand out and make sure that you take that competitive advantage, because your competition is going to be slowing down everything to like quote unquote save money, even though it's something that's going to give you an ROI. So yeah, I would say just keeping loud in the market, posting content, posting ads, and be consistent to continue grabbing that market share. Because if you're not doing it, someone else is gonna.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Yeah, like by my estimations, like it appeared to me that, during those maybe like October to like February months there, like you're probably looking at like 30 to 40% decrease in overall demand in the market. And it's like, if you really think about what you're doing within your business, it's okay. Say you're spending $2,000 in ad spend, but now your cost per lead come these colder months is going to go up 20, 30%. It's like, okay, if you're still getting a fantastic return, 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x, whatever, you should just be upping your ad spend to make up for the lesser amounts of leads. So again, if you're experiencing, a 30% drop in the market, guess what we need to increase our ad spend by in order to be stable during these times? 30%.
Yeah, and I just don't buy it, man. Like when people are like, oh, it's the slow season, so it's just like, yep, just going to take vacation, maybe give the guys time off, and it's just slow. So it's like, that's just how it is. I just don't buy it, right? It's like, there's so many things you can be doing, like booking into next year, right? If you're in a place that gets hit with a lot of snow, yeah, there's going to be a point where you just can't do exteriors because you've got snow. It's not going to hear the best, but it's like, well, they're still going to want it done, right? It's obviously not right now, like going into the fall. But for next year, right? It's like, are you going in to try to sell and get some people, maybe even some discounts, collecting deposits for like next spring, like getting them into, your schedule first, right? So it might even just be a lack of like the sales process, right? Like how to sell a job like now for next year, right? Getting nice and excited to do so. So like, there's always like an option and opportunity to do that. If you start thinking about how you can turn this into an advantage versus like just, close shop, nothing I can do. It's the market. It's snow, everything, right? Like we used to knock on doors in the middle of winter, right? To do that. And, you can't do any work, but there you go. It works, right? So like pre-selling, exteriors for next year, I would say those are probably most people's bread and butter because bigger jobs, people don't want to. And you mix in with like some interiors as well. Same thing, right? Like if you're in the summertime and it's nice and hot, you should definitely be doing exteriors even right now. Like you should be focusing on finishing up all your exteriors, book as much as possible. And then any interiors, we tell our clients, it's like, well, if they're not in a super like need of do it right now, because if they don't need to, you can either push them to like the winter, as long as they're good with it, right? Obviously, if they have like a wedding next week and they need the house to look nice, yeah, that's different. But it's like, and worst case, maybe give them a little discount to thank them to be able to wait till those winter months to do it. And guess what? You're not going to get every single person like yes to that. But when you do more marketing and you are getting out to the market more, you're going to find those needle in the haystack type of people that are willing to wait. Oh, now you got a bunch of them, and now your winter's booked.
Yeah, I think something, that we see in like the marketing industry when we're talking about remodeling or painting is it's like, okay, well, what is our advantage when we are booking like those exteriors in those months in which that we can't produce them? And it's like, okay, well, the value add then is, like you're saying, that priority booking. Like now you have priority. When do you want to be slotted in, Kathy? Well, I'd ideally, honestly, like it like right as the sun starts shining, like first week of March. Perfect. I can actually get you in there right now. If you were to come to me maybe in a couple months, like even in December or something, ask me about it, you probably pushed out to April. So why don't we just settle this kind of all now? We'll book you in right there. And then that way, that everything's taken care of for next year. On top of that, I think like you obviously have to like build your business to the terrain in which that it surrounds as well. And what I mean by that is like, when we're, working with our clients on the East Coast and like everything over there is all wood. There's no brick. But what that means? That means that, the paint is peeling on the wood all the time and stuff like that. It's like, well, now that that's also going to be even easier to sell because everything around you is built with wood and nobody knows your market better than you do. And obviously we can guesstimate pretty good even on our end, but whether you're working with a marketing agency, whether you're doing your marketing yourself, these are like cutting edge strategies that you can be kind of discussing with your agency or yourself. So you can be like, okay, lots of wood around. Let's focus on, marketing towards full wood exteriors for the winter because they're going to get beat the heck up all throughout the winter.
Absolutely, man. It's funny you bring that up because I remember I used to drive in our my area, my neighborhoods, and as I'm checking up on my crews, I would also have a clipboard. And anytime I'd see a house that's just in like just terrible like shape, not so much that it's abandoned, but just like faded or like just peeling, I would note down the address and then go back, knock on the door, try to talk to them, and also kind of give them an idea of what it could look like because a lot of homes in a certain area look the same, right? So it's like, oh, your siding's faded. Well, look what we did for Pat over on Cathcart, right? Like it's similar house. This is what we were able to do with them. And they're just so much happier with like this versus such a, like the color's gone. Like it's just pure wood now. Mm-hmm. So you could drive around. There's so many different ways you could be proactive to do so that other people just aren't.
Yeah, absolutely. I know something that roofing companies do is because obviously, most service-based businesses at some point in time will at least try door-to-door marketing just because it's so tried and true. But I know specifically for like roofing companies, they'll just drive around to find the houses that with the bad roofs and be like, hey, I own a roofing company. I noticed you got a trash roof. You want a quote? And if I was, just to expand that and maybe a little off topic, but like you can really start thinking outside the box here. Like if I was in roofing, I would sauce up my drone across the neighborhood and I would just fly over everybody's house. And, I bet like some people like don't even know that, their roof is in bad condition or again, whatever it is. But yeah, you definitely want to be doing more marketing instead of less. Again, just because the demand of everything is lower doesn't mean that you can't still be putting out the numbers in which they were. It just means you got to work a little harder, which is not the end of the world. It just means you got to sprint through the finish line as opposed to kind of slow down at the end there.
That's a great analogy. 100%. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you ever slow down the last 100 meters? Like, you should always continue. And I think just like on top of that too, it's like what you were doing right there. It's like just being more proactive and like, just, like you're thinking about it. Like, look at that. You right now, just in the thinking about getting work, or you thinking about the drone and flying that up, if you were running a roofing business, you can also like Google Maps and go to Street View, right? Not depending on pros and cons on time, like how long it'll take and stuff. But it's like, as soon as you start thinking about that, and forget about having to just create it yourself, go to ChatGPT, have ChatGPT like help you find some of these ideas to start implementing. And that's the key, right? Like implementing what is there. You could have a list of like 50 ideas, but if you're not taking action on any of them, you kind of just have a list of words and you're not booking anything.
Yeah. And you can also lean into seasonality. It's a different business model approach, but what a lot of people do, depending on, again, the climate in which that you live, but people will offer snow removal services alongside, like, obviously, like their painting and stuff like that. Or a big one that we actually did was holiday lighting. Easiest money I ever made. I swear to God, $800 a house, 2 hours of work. Crazy. Right. So it depends on like the business structure that you kind of want to set up for yourself. But I don't necessarily think that like you're doing yourself a disservice by adding additional services. You do need to be cautious that you still stay in your primary lanes for sure. But, there is also nothing wrong with moving with the tides of the ocean, so to speak.
100%. And I think that's such a key right there, because there's times like, let's say right now, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh crap, like, and you start implementing this stuff and you're still not really booked out, wouldn't hurt to add something else like, holiday lights, snow removal. And as you like, maybe next year and the years after that, you start doing everything perfectly. Like you start booking out interiors way into the winter, right? Starting in like June, like May. Well, if you do more of that and it starts compounding, you're going to have your winter completely booked up. Then you can probably get rid of snow removal or keep it and just add an extra crew, which I think that would be a better play. But again, totally up to you. And it's just being proactive with it, right?
Yeah. And I feel like, especially come like Christmas, obviously you got the winter time and stuff like that. You have like some really easy marketing ploys, if you will, that you can kind of, start embarking on, where it's like something that we used to do was the Christmas cards to the clients.
That was awesome.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. I remember one year, I'll never do it again, but one year I sat down and I hand wrote a card to every single one of my clients. And honestly, it was an interesting like brain exercise, if you will, because it allowed me the opportunity to kind of reflect on my year. But we definitely booked some jobs the year after that because of it. Just because, again, during that, I would say, hope the dog is good, hope your daughter's well, whatever it is. But who's getting a Christmas card from their contractor? And it's just if it's a standing out game, then there you go, right?
Yeah, especially like a handwritten, man. I remember that too. Like just sending out all these cards and having to handwrite every single one. That was pretty crazy. And honestly, man, it was kind of like a gratitude piece too. Like it felt so nice. Like, oh man, like these guys are awesome. Like, oh, okay. It was just fun. It was definitely tedious, but it was like slower season, but we got to write it in there. And it's funny because I had some clients that told us like, hey, we just have it on our mantle, have it on our chimney or fireplace. And it was kind of cool to see that a lot of them, they're not going to just throw it out, right? If you built a good, chances are that card's going on their tree or going on their like fireplace, and guess who else gets to see it, right? Other family members, other friends that come by for the holidays too, and just being able to help them as well. So, it was always a good thing. Always stand out.
Totally. I genuinely think a good use of production manager's time, even like from there, is if you bought 40, 50, $15 bottles of wine and drop them off at every single one of your client's house that you did that season, send your production manager for a 2-day excursion, just doing that. It's like, do not underestimate, the power of that butterfly effect. And it's like, if some businesses can survive just on word of mouth. I said survive and not thrive. No, notice that. Imagine if you were really putting that goodwill out into the world, with these Christmas cards, with a bottle of wine, whatever, how much powerful that word of mouth or butterfly effect would even be just from that. Again, these people are getting by, again, notice the language, getting by just on good work. But again, imagine now if you have that, just good karma put out into the world, plus good work, plus good marketing. My God, be unstoppable.
Literally, right? Oh man. And you should be that passionate, right? It's, you started a business for whatever reason, right? It's quit your job. Like, love doing this. You love seeing the clients like expression when they see their paint project being completed. And it should be one of those things that not only yourself, but having like your crews take such passion and care into like the clients as well, because they're the ones in the homes as well. And it doesn't even take much, right? Maybe it's not wine, maybe it's something else. Maybe you heard like one of your crew members heard them talk about something that was like, oh, this could be a good thing to have, like, to give them, right? Like one time, one of my favorite all time clients, they were, I can't even call it downsizing because the house was way nicer. I guess they upsized, but their kids are gone. And they lived in this house that's been, they've been in there for decades. And, like their kids are moved out and they're gone. They're grown up and stuff. Now they're going to this whole new house that is just empty now. So one of the things I did was I took a little piece of the wall from the old house and I created a little card with the old house so they have something to remember the old house wall.
Wow.
And it's like, it doesn't take much to, and it was just such a, like, I like to be more creative and they loved it. Right. And I think it was such a cool, because this is something that I'd want. It's like, oh man, if I was growing up in this house and now I have this like thing, like card with like the old color and things to just remember it by, I'd be so happy. Right. So it doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. And I think just like being thoughtful to people like goes a long way. And even like, especially like when you do stuff like that, like you should really be encouraging your crews to try and do stuff for this. Like, I think one time like somebody close to one of our clients like passed away or something like that. My production manager messaged me. She's like, can we like go get her flowers? I'm like, yes, you can go get the flowers. That's totally fine to go get them flowers. But it's like, that's something that like nobody else is willing to do. A lot of people are in and out for the job or whatever, but just like making that lasting impression that just nobody else would do. It's gonna bring the next level of business to you. And when you give them a call to ask, if they need any referrals, like they're gonna sit with you on the phone for 2 minutes and they're gonna like really think about like who's been begging to change their wall color. Because again, you didn't do it because you wanted a referral from them. You did it because you wanted to make their life better. But it just so happens that karma is going to come back around to you.
That's awesome, man. And that's how right? Like your crew, like being able to want to do things like that. That's how like you've instilled that core value with them, that they start thinking about things like this. And it could be as easy as the crew like mentions something like that, like you mentioned, and you're an owner, but instead of you going to give the flowers, let your production manager or one of your painters take care. And they'll, and when they do that, like let them take a look and they'll see like what it's like to, really take care of a client to the fullest capacity. They'll never want.
Yeah. It also just like fulfills your workers when you delegate like tasks like that too. Like it must be nice to just like, take a break from the cut lines for a sec and, go to just make somebody's day. Like that's a good day at work. And like, we're constantly trying to create those, in our company when, we do stuff like that. I was talking to one of our clients the other day and he's mentioning that, one of the interesting challenges that he was, going through was his painters that he hired, were used to commercial work. So when they went to go do residential work for him, he says just no personal touch whatsoever. It's like in and out. It's never how are you, but it's like you're really in the service industry. You can think of yourself as a waiter of such, I guess. Again, you're supposed to be smiling. You're supposed to be, asking how things are. But again, you are in the service industry. So like that challenge for him was just trying to transition the in and out commercial painting person into a customer service representative.
Yeah, especially because they've known that for so long. And it takes like all these little things to help them, I guess, transition into a residential painter. It is very different, very relationship heavy. And all these little things definitely matter for sure.
Yeah. And to the point of like, even just like keeping busy during the quote unquote slower months. And again, I say quote unquote for a reason. End of day, you just need to be doing more. And it's like, we've said it already, but it's like, the saddest thing for us to hear, whenever we're talking with contractors is I had to lay off 20 people. How many times now have we heard like I've had to lay off 20 people? And it's like, why did you have to lay off 20 people? Well, I didn't have to work to support them. Right. So it's like when you embark on your journey that is like running a business, painting, remodeling, whatever, it's no slight responsibility. You're now saying like, I'm going to be responsible for the livelihood of XYZ people. And if you're not going into this whole thing with that frame of reference, like these are just ones and zeros, pawns in your game of scaling your company to make money, you're going about it the wrong way and it's not going to be sustainable. So, when you're really trying to like conceptualize, what is marketing, what is keeping my jobs up during like these slower months, it's like, it's just taking care of your people.
So beautifully said, man. Like it's the truest thing in your business, right? Without them, like you either don't have a business or you're stuck back on the tools completely. And you've trained them, you've done so much work to bring them here. They've been with you for so long. And yeah, 100%, right? Like having to let people go, I think is probably one of the most common things I hear. And it's like, in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean you're not doing you're not doing Facebook ads? Like, what do you mean you're not doing Google ads or you're not doing door-to-door? Like it should be your prime objective to do everything to make sure you can in your, to get work for your workers. Cause you promised them when you hired them full-time work the whole time, not just like when it's like easy to get work, but also in the tough times. And are you doing things to actually put that into action?
Yeah. And like the people that are like, they've gotten up to, 100K a month, 200K a month, whatever. And then like, we speak to them. They're like, oh, like I'm doing like, 20K a month now. I just don't know what happened. And we dive into it and, they never even did any sort of like marketing, like active marketing, like reinvesting the money that you make in the business back into the business to create some sort of sustainable lead flow, job flow, whatever. Again, that magic number that you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is 10%. 10% of your revenue should be reinvested back into your business to look and get more jobs. If you're not doing this, and again, that might even raise a little bit during the slower periods, as we talked about. If you're 30% less demand, 30% more ad spend, right? So again, when we're talking to these people that are doing these crazy numbers and then go down to these lower numbers and they haven't done anything at all, we're like, are you surprised? Like, and they're always surprised, but like, are you really surprised? It's like you had no sustainable foundation and nothing to rely on in terms of marketing.
And I totally get it, man. And like a lot of times when I talk to these like painting contractors, it's like they just didn't know, right? Like a lot of times they're like, oh, what do you mean marketing budget? Like, oh, I'm supposed to put money into this. I've been using word of mouth like for so long, and from 25 employees now down to 10. It's like I don't know what happened, and maybe they just didn't know that they were supposed to put money into like marketing to help generate more work to continue scaling. So I totally don't blame them. I think it's one of those things that's like they just need to know that it's a thing, because so many of them just don't realize.
Well, it sucks because like your entry level like marketing mechanisms that like you can start as like any sort of contractor is like your Angie's List, is like your Facebook groups, is like your door to door. And it's just so easy to get on Angie's and get absolutely nothing or pay a bunch of money and get absolutely nothing. It's easy to go out 2-3 times door to door and get absolutely no leads. And it's like now the painted picture of what marketing is and investing into your business looks like is that it's just a bad idea. Just wait for things to come to you and you know your good work is going to do the moving of the needle for the company. But it's like, no, you just need to find things that do work. And likely if they're working for other people, there's probably a way for it to work for you too.
Yeah, 100%. Like one of my favorite quotes is like, "You're not special," right? Mm-hmm. Everything that's been done out there, we're in the times where everything's been done, and if something's working out there, it can work for you as well. And it's like, how much work are you putting into actually trying to make it work, or are you just kind of putting it on autopilot and just letting it be? Like even think of like upsells. Right? Think of upsells on top of the pre-sell like exteriors on for next year. Like, are you going back to those clients and offering like a deal like in the fall months to try to get interiors? Have you even talked to your like past clients, right? Or even more, are you afraid to talk to your past clients because you're not sure how great of a job you did? You need to get a review, right? So how often do you talk to your past clients, visit them, and write cards and stuff like that to help with like, more interiors in the winter. We call it like the fall discount, the winter discount. It's all the same, but what are you doing more of to actually get to there?
Yeah, I have my clients that like I don't necessarily know like I would like go back to every one of my clients and fucking visit them. However, I have my clients that like when I'm in that area, I would like actually just go to that house. I would, what's up? I'm here. You making me a coffee or what? I got like anywhere between 3 to 5 of those, where I would literally just stop by and just like, how are you? I think that's all the time we have for today. If you guys would like to see what it might look like to work with us and to keep yourselves busy during those slower months, we'd be more than happy to have a conversation depending on where you are. That being said, we thank you all for listening. We hope you guys got a lot of value out of this episode. I think this was a great episode, Jimmy. I think we crushed it, buddy.
Let's go.
Links down below. Click it if you're interested, and we will see you guys in the next.
Cheers.